In this video, I want to look at if statements, which are hugely important, and also data validation, just a way to make sure you don't make inadvertent mistakes. So here we have this, and this is all arbitrary too. There's not any relation to finance or real estate or accounting or anything else. So let's say we score of a football game. Let's say if you know you score 17 points or more, you know you're going to win. So I can have an if statement equal, and now remember when we type equal to have the function, and you type I, and every function that starts with I comes up. If happens to be the first one, so you can just press tab. We do a logical test. If this, whatever's in cell C1, is equal to 17, comma, I'm going to do a 1, comma, 0. So as long as that's a 17, it's a 1. If it's anything other than 17, it's a 0. But I'm not limited to just 1 and a 0. I can have text. So if I have text, I can give a message. I have to put it in quotes. That's a win. Make sure you have the quotes, comma. And if it's not 17, then you lose. So 17 is a win. But I really want to have more than 17 be a win, and less than 17 means you lose. So you can have a greater than or equal to statement, which means if it's greater than 17, you win any number, and if it's less than 17, then you're going to lose. Again, maybe I don't want to have this. Look at C1. What does C1 mean? I don't have any idea. So you come up here and call this, in the name box, type score. And then what I would have is equal, I have to do it over, if this score is greater than or equal to 17, comma, win, comma, lose. So and maybe I don't want to have the 17 typed in right here. Maybe I want to have that as a cell reference. However you would like to do that. It just kind of depends on the situation. Now let's go to something a little more complicated, because a nested if statement. Here we either had more than 17, or we didn't, greater than or equal to, or less than. So it was either this or that, true or false. Well, what if we have multiple choices? So let's look at something a little realistic with the filing status for taxes. So we have single, married, head of household. Those are your 3 different filing statuses. And I left these unformatted just to prove a point. You have to look closely to tell that that's 12,200. You have to kind of count the zeros. But if I have this, just go home and just click the comma format, you immediately see it's 12,200. But there's no pennies in this. It's always rounded to $1, so I can get rid of that. So those are my different statuses and the standard deduction that goes with them. So here I would have the user type in single. And some people, it's not everybody, some people say, well, let's make anything you type in, it's going to have the background. Well, actually, most people will do, the color is going to be blue, it's going to be bold. Now this is something I know that I change, and anything else, this is something that's just an output. So I know I can type in single or married or whatever. So I'll type here equal if this cell, and again, maybe I don't want to have that as I1. Maybe the best way to do this is rename this status. You don't want to say filing status. It's probably a little long. Again, if you misspell that, you screw that up, don't change it here. Go to the name manager and change it at the name manager. So this is my status. So for deduction, I'll say equal if the status is equal to, in quotes, single, comma, give me this one, and if not, I'm just going to do 2 real quick. So I'm just going to say you're either single or you're married, and I want to have that formatted as well. So let's ignore head of house for now. Say single or you're married. So if I type in married, it changes. Type in single, 6100. But what if I'm in a hurry and I type in single and I misspell it? then it shows me like that's married, because what this is saying is if status is single is exactly those words exactly, then give me this. But if I misspell it, I'm off. That's why I want to do data validation. And instead of calling this head of household, I'm going to keep it simple. You just have head, because you could do HOH or whatever you want to do, but I don't want longer words or worse. So here for the data validation, what I want to do is go to data validation, and I get to choose. I'm going to choose from a list, and it's going to be this source, and we'll look at this in detail later on. But now I can only choose single or married or head of household, so I'm limited. I can't misspell anything. But I'm going to do one thing just a little unusual to throw you off here. I have single there, but look, it's giving me 8950 instead of 6100. The reason is, click up here, I have a blank space. That's how particular Excel is. So get rid of that blank space and then come back here and choose single again. So you got to be a little OCD to get through this. You got to really focus on the details. Alright, so let me ask you a question. I want you to, in your mind, answer no to the first two. Are you single? No. Are you married? No. Then you must be head of household. So since there are three things you can be, I only have to ask two questions. So when I'm doing this, I'm going to do it from scratch. And again, I don't click up here and backspace. Press escape to get out. I just type equal if your status is equal to, in quotes, I could even do this cell, so I'm making no mistakes. I don't have to put the word there. Your status is equal to that, comma, give me 6100. If you're not single, I need to ask a question again. So that's a value if it's true is a 6100, comma, what's the value of false? Well, if you're not single, let me ask again. If status equals married, comma, then give me the 8950. If not, give me the head of household, close parentheses. So if I choose married, if I choose head, so I'm always getting the right one. But I want you to look at the formula again. It says a logical test, is your status equal to single? If it is, give me 6100. If it's not, is your status equal to married? If it is, do the true, which is the I6, which is your married deduction. If it's not, if you're not single, you're not married, then give me head of household. So that is the if statement. This is a nested if statement. You can continue to nest those in there. There is some limit in the older versions of Excel, and that changes with the version of Excel. But let me do a couple more things with the data validation. So I'm going to come here, data validation, and I can do from a list, and I can actually type in and separate by commas whatever words I want, or I could just choose like I've done here. And then input message, which I can click to show the message, give some title, and I'm just going to put message, and then, blah blah blah, whatever it happens to be. When I do that, I come here and I don't know what this cell means. Head select, I don't know what you mean by head, but I have this message here that tells me everything I need to know about it. Okay, so another thing I can do is for data validation, I'll just show you one more because there's so many. I can have, instead of any value, I can have a whole number, or I can have a decimal, all these different things. Let's choose whole number, and it can be between, it can be any of these different variations. So let's say a minimum of 5 and a maximum of 15. Okay, so I put in 5, that works. I put in 4, and it tells me no. So data validation, make sure you're building a spreadsheet for a user. That user could be you or a client or a colleague, and you want to make sure you don't put in some bogus information, you don't misspell a word, you don't put in a bad number that can't possibly be. So make sure you get those down good. And again, practice with this, and that's it for now.